Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1823 AN. Today's date is March 24th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Central Bank's Credibility Went to Zero, the Perfect Setup. Now, don't you just love it when you find a $20 bill in a jacket pocket you haven't worn in ages, or a purse you've not used for a long time? Well, imagine this, finding hundreds of dollars in the papers that are sitting in your file cabinet. I'm talking about that old 401k paperwork. That money is sitting there doing nothing. Our friends at Noble Gold can cast an eye over that lost paperwork and see if you qualify for a precious metals IRA with it. So they're offering one of these special Morgan Silver dollars for all qualified IRAs above $20,000. So dig out the old paperwork and click the link below to get started on your gold IRA. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we're starting to see all the pieces come together, not just with the treasonous folks, but with the economy and how Trump and the patriots are setting up the central bank to take the fall. We also see that Trump is doing everything he possibly can to bring jobs back to America, rebuild the infrastructure, and create bilateral trade agreements with many, many countries. We see Mnuchin and we see Lighthizer. They are going to Beijing next week for continued high-level trade negotiations with the Chinese. And we understand and we realize is that Trump is creating these deals to benefit the United States. Remember what the globalists have done. Remember what the central banks have done. They stripped America of trade, and they benefited other countries because their whole entire mission was to move everything out of the United States. And they've been doing this for quite a while. And now Trump is bringing everything back, deregulating, setting up trade deals, and at the same time pushing the number one agenda, and that is getting rid of the central bank. And why do I say this? Yes, we have treasonous individuals. Yes, we have traitors. Yes, we have people that committed crimes. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real crime is against the American people by creating this fiat currency out of thin air and having a separate corporation manage the entire country's finances, and not just the country, but the world, while attaching interest to the money the currency, I should say, that they're lending to us, enslaving each and every one of us to the central bank. The whole entire plan revolves around getting rid of the central bank. The central bank is not for the people. The central bank has no allegiance to a country. The central bank only cares about debt, profit, and control. And we can see already that Trump has been setting up the Federal Reserve. What do I mean by this? Since Trump has taken office, he has contradicted the Fed over and over again. And as he continually does this, he's pointing the finger at the Fed, shining the spotlight on the Fed, and making sure that everyone understands that they're the ones who are going to be responsible in the end. Think about it. Trump came into office, took these statistical numbers, manipulated them with his magic wand, made the economy look absolutely fantastic, lowered the unemployment like we've never seen before. GDP shot up. Stock market at all-time highs. The Fed, because of all this, because if we go, before Trump, Obama was out there saying he has the best economy because he was manipulating the numbers. Trump took it and decided to manipulate them a lot more. So the Fed and the deep state's plan was to raise the interest rates during this economic boom time. And what they were going to do is they're going to raise the rates, and the economy was going to start to fall apart. Trump turned it around on them, started to blame the Fed, and continually said, listen, if you continually raise the rates, you're going to hurt the economy. Every time you do it, the stock market comes down. Why would you be doing this when we have debt coming soon? And all of a sudden, coming into 2019, the Fed decided to be patient. Now the Fed decided not to raise any rates here in the United States. Now, step back for a moment. When people are hearing this and they're seeing this, the Fed was telling America, the world, the economy was strong. Everything was great. This is why we're going to be tightening. This is why we're going to be raising rates. Now, did the economy get worse in the United States? No, it didn't. Actually, it got better. The unemployment rate came down. GDP has gone up, and the stock market has gone up. So why in the world, with the economy getting stronger, why in the world would the Fed not raise rates, and why would they stop tightening? Does it make any sense? No, it doesn't. So the people now are looking at the Fed and they're saying, well, wait a minute. The economy was doing well, and you're telling us because it's doing well, we're going to be raising interest rates. And because it's doing well, we're going to be tightening. Now the economy is doing even better, if you look at these statistical numbers, and you decided not to. Do you understand the economy? Is there something wrong? Now, if the economy starts to fall apart, who is to blame? Well, Trump can easily turn around and say, listen, I had the economy roaring. They decided to stop raising interest rates. They decided not to tighten anymore. Now, if the Fed decides to raise interest rates, Trump can now say, listen, I have the economy doing perfectly well. They decided to raise interest rates. And they decided to unwind their balance sheet. They brought the economy down. Basically, what Trump has done is he's cornered the Fed, and the Fed, no matter which way it goes, will be blamed for bringing down the economy. The Fed's credibility right now has been reduced to zero because Trump is continually pushing the economy and making it better and better and better. Of course, this is all statistical, and every time he brings back manufacturing, every time he brings back businesses, everyone sees this, and everyone said this is fantastic. Every time Trump says we just added another 10,000 jobs, everyone sees this and says, wow, the economy is doing fantastically. Now the Fed is flip-flopping back and forth. They're going in all different directions now. And what they're doing doesn't even make sense. This was part of the plan. This was the plan to show that the Fed has no clue in what the economy is doing. They have no idea how to control it, how to maintain it. And all they're doing is flip-flopping back and forth. The unemployment numbers come down. Well, we're going to raise rates. The unemployment numbers come down even further. We're going to stop raising rates. It makes no sense. Trump and the patriots have backed them into a corner. And now no matter which way they go, they are doomed. And we can see at this time, this has been the plan all along. Because we know what's going to happen in 2020. Trump will win the election. And this is when the fun starts. This is when the transition begins. Am I saying it's going to happen right after he's elected? No. But he's going to prep the country. Now think about it. Back in 1971, Nixon came out and said, listen, we're coming off the gold standard because of speculators. They made up this entire story. And of course, back then there was no internet. We just believed whatever they were saying, and everyone went along with it. And it allowed the Fed to create currency. Actually, they were creating a lot of currency before that, and this is why they had to come off the gold standard, because countries were figuring it out. Trump now is going to come out, and everything is going to be reversed. How is he going to do this? Well, it's very simple. The Fed raises rates, brings down the economy. The economy comes down. Trump says, hey, I was doing a great job. What happened here? I was bringing back jobs. what happened here? I deregulated. Economy was roaring. The Fed decided to step in, and they started to raise rates. I told them not to. I told them this is a bad idea. Too much debt. The economy's doing fantastically. I'd keep the rates where they are, but they didn't listen. They decided to do it anyhow. And all of a sudden, the economy started to fall apart. The stock market started to come down, and everything started to crash. Trump, during this period of time, will continually point the finger at the Fed. At this point, the people will become angry. At this point, this is when Trump will start pushing the idea of an audit. Trump will start pushing the idea that maybe we should look into the business of the Fed. Since they are managing the country, we should know as a people what they are doing. And this is when you'll see the bills start to move in the Senate, in the House, and it'll be pushed to the president. Remember, just like the deep state, they use events to push their legislation. Well, the good guys, the white hats, can do the same exact thing. They can use events to push legislation. And we've seen this already. We've seen certain events that have been used to push legislation. Think of the national emergency. Of course, this event was created by the deep state, but it was used against them. The same thing is going to happen with the Federal Reserve. This event of a crisis is going to create an event that can be used against the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve, they used to use these events to better themselves. Well, this event, which they created, will be used against them. It will get everything stirring in America. People will be outraged. The audit bills will come to light, and they will move to the president. The president will sign them, and we'll start looking into the business of the Federal Reserve. And once we start looking into the business of the Federal Reserve, what do you think we're going to find? Do you think everything's going to be perfect and they're doing everything for we the people? No. We're most likely going to find criminal activity. We're going to find that a lot of this currency has gone to many different areas except the American people. Remember, the mandate of the Federal Reserve is not to the mandate of the central bank in Europe, to the central bank in Japan, to the central bank everywhere else. The mandate for the Federal Reserve is for the people of the United States. That is it. And we know that this is not what the Fed has been doing. The Fed has been pushing their agenda to better themselves, to better the Rothschild banking system. And this is where everything is going to end. Because once the audit comes out, the people are going to realize, the people are going to see that they're not doing it for the people. They're doing it for the bankers, Wall Street, other central banks, and the Rothschilds. That day is coming. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.